Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. This is the sixth week or sixth edition to the Dynamic Thought Creative Consciousness series that I'm doing. This week's session or chapter rather, is about how like attracts like and how powerful our thoughts are. And then it goes on to continue to reaffirm some of the things that we've learned in previous chapters, which are very beneficial. And I know that there is a little bit of repetitive nature to this book. However, that's essential. You can't read something one time and it will just be applied to you. So, especially when we're talking about stuff like this life-changing type of things, or developing a new character, a new personality for yourself, new habits and whatnot. So just keep that in mind if you hear a couple of the same things again. If you've never seen one of my videos before, thank you so much for watching. I'm a Master Teacher Reiki Practitioner, energy worker. I work out of the New York City area. If you'd like to find me on social media, I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. If you'd like to check out my website, it is luneinnate.com. There you can see my blog, get in touch with me to send a message or have a question on a video, request a video, or have an idea for a video or anything like that. You can make a donation there if you feel so inclined, or you can check out the services that I offer. I do distance Reiki, in-person Reiki, I teach Reiki, I do consultations, readings, and make things. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, please check out my website. This chapter begins by basically reaffirming that like attracts like scenario and how our thoughts create our experience, our life experience. Evil, negative thoughts produce evil actions, evil things entering our lives, evil situations, negative situations rather, negative people entering our lives, negative people with their own negative things enhancing our negativity, cultivating it and making it even stronger and growing it as its own, nasty little group or a gang. Positive thoughts produce positive things, or good and positive thoughts create good in your life. They create good scenarios. They create good feelings. They attract good, positive people that are going to lift you up and not continue to bring you down. So again, this goes into our thought control. We must be aware of what we're thinking. A very perfect example of someone who takes their thoughts to a negative place right away is an example on texting. Have you ever sent a message to someone? Maybe you saw that they read it, maybe you don't have that option. Time goes by and you start getting mad. You start getting super negative. Why isn't this person texting me back? Oh, well, screw them. Okay, fine, you're not going to text me back. Instead of taking it to a positive or even more logical place of, oh, maybe they're really busy right now. Maybe they're working. I'm glad that they saw my message. I'm glad they took the time to read it if they're so busy. I know that they're going to get back to me. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Those negative things that we implicate so quickly, and it just turns us into this who wants to deal with that? Nobody wants to deal with that type of person over and over and over again. It gets old quick, So that's a very general little mini example, but I think you can see a very clear picture there. It's, somebody who's not getting the result that they want right away or whatever, and they just take their thoughts to this negative and twisted place. The same can be said, for people who deal with anxiety, and I'm not calling you out, I've suffered from that as well. I don't mean it like that, but that negative thing that's happening in your mind, or let's say it's like a social anxiety. Let's say we could put something like that. Someone goes out, it turns into people are looking at me, people think I'm weird, whatever, I don't fit in, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like this, I want to go home. And you've talked yourself into, even more so into your anxiety, just as you can talk yourself out of it. I know that sounds like a very difficult concept when we're really struggling with anxiety. And I'm not calling you out. I feel for you. I've been there and it was really, really difficult. I still struggle with it. Everyone does. But me learning to control my thoughts and not take it to that dark place. And if I know that I can't avoid that kind of feeling, if I'm just having a day, just going to stay home. I'm just not going to put myself in the position where I'm going to drive this nail further and further down into this negative place and like lock myself there and create another pattern. Everything that we do in our day is either contributing to a habit or pattern that we already have very defined in our lives, or it's creating a new pattern. So either way, if I'm doing something that's not beneficial for myself, whether it's internal or external, everything that I do that's negative in a sense, or that goes against me in some way, is going to potentially, or pretty much almost guaranteed, lead towards more negative actions, negative thoughts, negative feelings, letting me be like, oh, the last time I was here, I was really uncomfortable. And bloop, there I am. I'm back there again. I'm really uncomfortable. I don't like these people. They don't like me, So having control of your thoughts is just hugely important for things like that. That's what the author means by evil thoughts, It's not meant to, sure, you can look at this as pure freaking evil, sure, but like really negative, horrible thoughts. But we're not really talking about that right now. We're talking about the evil that keeps us at our lower level. Our lower level being not the higher up version of ourselves that we want to be, that better version with the better life, with the lifestyle that we want, stuff like that, etc. You can take this and look at it as an illness kind of form as well. When we start thinking and obsessing about what kind of illness we might have, we start to manifest that illness within us. And this can also be said for mental health as well. When we start reading about like reading. And I'm not talking about empathetically reading and looking for people who are going through and sharing the same story, because that makes you feel better and encourages you to, realize that you're okay and that people can get out of this and people experience this and this is normal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about negativity for the sake of negativity. Negativity as an acceptable form of bonding on a negative way, and not in an empathetic way, on a way of like, yeah, this is negative and this is where we are. Now again, I'm not a judgmental person. I don't do that type of thing. So I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm just trying to inspire you to think and consider your thoughts and your actions, and if they're serving you well. And that's a lot of what this book is kind of recognizing in this chapter. On the more beautiful side of the coin, the more gorgeous thoughts and pure and peaceful and lovely and inspiring and creative and healthy thoughts that we have, the more of that we're going to bring into our lives. So yeah, there's this like negative component of attraction, but turn it around, flip the switch, and you have this really gorgeous element of attraction where you can attract people in your life that are going to lift you up, like I said, areas that you will draw success from, opportunities to become successful in, because you're doing the work. Work is paid off. It's not paid in, instantaneously. That's a job. A job is paid per hour. Your life is not paid that way, So when you want to look at things in this bigger picture, don't look for that like instant gratification. That said, though, changing your thoughts is instantly gratifying, because within that moment where you have this beautiful thought or memory or something you're cultivating or something you're digging up, or just something that makes you feel good, a book you're reading, whatever it is, music you're listening to, that's instantly feels good, So just an example of the two, and to become aware of the two and get yourself to the place that benefits you more. The author now goes on to discuss 3 areas that will serve us very well. The first being to remove our mentality from the crowd. It's not to say that we shouldn't be like intermingling or maintaining friendships with people who are kind of stuck in their own way, and cut them out and say like, oh, that's you, you're bad, I'm freaking up here now, I'm awake, like whatever. Like that's not at all what the author is saying. And in fact, he says that would be counter productive to what you're actually doing, because that's involving like your ego in a very nasty kind of way. The best thing to do when you're involved in that is remove your brain, your mental space from the crowd mentality, and do what you can to impact others and raise them up. If someone says something bad about themselves, point out something good about themselves. If someone's unhappy, try to make them happy or say something that will cheer them up. If they're sad, if they're hungry, bring them a snack, like really simple things. Try to be something that will influence and change other people's lives as well, because why wouldn't you? That's noble. That's what being an awakened person really is. It's bringing others up with you, not using them as a way for you to judge how far you've come, elevating your crowd, your friends. They might not take it, be prepared for that. A lot of people just aren't on that level, and that's cool. That's totally fine. You still wouldn't want to judge them, but some of them will get there. Some of them will be very impacted by a few words that you care to share with them or a kindness that you offer. The second thing that the author goes into is examining everything that we experience when it comes to TV shows, news, newspapers, books, articles, anything that can be interpreted and let into our subconscious. We want to be very critical of those kind of elements because they have a huge impact on our subconscious. So, and this goes into things that I've said before about the music that we listen to. Like, what's the message? I have this album that I'm listening to. I love this guy's voice. I really love the album. I think it's sounds really good. But I find myself either manipulating the words so that they're positive or just having to not listen to it all the time, because as much as I love it and I love the sound of it, the message that I end up singing to myself is not beneficial whatsoever. In fact, it's detrimental. It's negatively impacting my mind, and I caught myself, thank goodness. And, I'll deal with it in a way that I can. A good way to balance and counteract this, again, is to fill your life with beautiful books, beautiful things that inspire you, good music with positive messages, or no, verbal or lyrical content at all, if you have to go that way. Shows that inspire you, things that educate you, inspire creative thoughts, inspire thoughts of success. Fill your life with things like that. Replace those things. Replace the negativity with that positivity. And then the third is, again, going back to the denials and then affirmations. I had a comment recently that I appreciated. It was saying oh, well, you can't, when you make an affirmation, you can't even put the negativity into the affirmation, because then you're kind of, giving it credit in a sense, or saying yes, this negativity is real. What this author goes into to explain, and again, this is an author, this is a helpful book. These are not my words. I have unique ways of thinking for every circumstance that I experience, as should you. But when it comes to success, I really do like these methods that we're taking part in through this book. So what the author is saying is there are two versions of you, or in a sense, the contemplation comes up. How could I deny evil when so clearly it is in my atmosphere, so clearly it exists? That negativity surely exists, right? How could it not? To which the author explains, there are two yous. There is the I, the ego, the you in your body, the you in your personality, the you that has come forth through this family, the you that's had these personal experiences which have shaped your unique character within your life, and that's you. That's the ego you, and that's not unhealthy. We have an ego for a reason, we wouldn't have it if it was completely bad. It's when we let it get out of hand, or we don't keep it in line, that the ego becomes a negative element to our lives. So if the I is finite, the soul, the real you that will carry on consciously when this body is, ready to retire, what goes on, that's you. That's infinite, and that is connected to all that is. The author uses the term that the I is the weaker reflection of the you. The real you is glorious and lives in your perfect mental world, the world that we've been accessing and creating and developing and strengthening in a conscious way through the book, through the previous chapters, through all the meditations that we've been taking part in throughout this whole course. We are denying evil, negativity to the you, to the infinite being or soul, or however you want to call it, infinite consciousness that will exist beyond this mortal world. There's a quote that the author reads in this book. It's not quoted to anyone, it just says a writer. An affirmation has been described by one writer as a statement of truth consciously used so as to become the directing power of life's expression. We touched on this a little in the preceding chapter, that as we go along and as we begin to program our subconscious and work with it and guide it, things are going to become more natural to us. We're going to have realizations and keys like, oh, we're supposed to do that now, or oh, this would be beneficial to us, or oh, this gets us closer to our goal. So keep that up, keep living within that and accessing it and taking advantage of it, and make sure that, again, you don't deny those things, you don't not act upon them, because the key is also action. We could think ourselves happy sitting in a dark room and, like someone in, whatever, like you can think yourself happy, but you're not going to think yourself to success without action, not in this world. I'd like to read one more part from the book that resonated with me, and then we're going to get to the meditation. He who overcomes himself overcomes the world. All its treasures are poured at his feet. All of the divine forces hasten to minister to his eternal joy. And I'm going to read the meditation for this week. Again, this is something for you to listen to this week, but we want to keep up with the other meditations as far as the ones that we've created, those specific ones. The mental you, your mental world, what you're denying and affirming on a personal level, what you're kicking out of your life and what you're bringing into it on a very personal and individual level. Keep meditating on that. Keep visualizing those. Those are, again, to be done before you go to bed, like before you go to sleep at night, and before you get out of bed in the morning, ideally. But those can also be done throughout the day to add to it. I do this, whenever I feel inspired to do it or reminded to do it in some way. So this goes into addition to that. In the future, I'm going to close my eyes to the imperfections of other people and endeavor only to see their good points. Everyone has lovable traits in his or her character. Even the hardest case has a soft spot somewhere. Therefore, in future, I will look only for the lovable traits and the soft spots. In everyone, I shall see something to admire and revere, something to love. And I shall not stop with people. I will also look for the good in every circumstance, in every difficulty, in every failure. I will look for the good in every blade of grass, in every opening flower, in the wind that blows and the sun that burns my cheek. Rain or sunshine, fair weather or foul, I will see good in everything, see perfection underlying all. Out of these will grow a new sympathy, a more extensive and embracing love, a larger and wider consciousness, for everyone and everything are my brothers. Each forms a part of the one whole. We are one with one another and the universal life and mind, of which we each form an individual part. I hope that you enjoyed this chapter as much as I did. I really love that ending meditation. I found it to be very affirming of what I try to practice myself, and finding the good in everything, and all of that is just such a life-changing process. It will bring you so much peace and joy and comfort, and I just highly recommend it. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all your support and encouragement and love and all the wonderful things that you shower me with. Thank you for donations, for those of you who have become my clients and formed relationships with me. I'm so grateful. I love connecting with all of you. It's my greatest joy. Those that subscribe, like, comment, share, it's just so helpful to me, and I'm so incredibly grateful for all of it. As always, thank you, and namaste. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and remember to subscribe if you're interested in following me along and being notified when I post new videos. You can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, or get in touch with me through my website, which is INNATE.com. There you can see the services that I offer, send a message, check out my blog, or make a donation if you feel so inclined. Thank you, and namaste.